Hey guys, happy to be back with another series, another mini project. I don't think this is gonna be a mini project, to be honest. It seems a little bit more challenging than what it might seem, but it's gonna be a fun one. So some of you saw the concept yesterday, and it's this guy right here. So we're gonna be doing the whole workflow. We're gonna be doing sculpting, probably retopology. I don't think we're gonna do rigging and animation, all that stuff, but maybe if the series receives enough support, we can try and do something like that. Remember that this series, even though we do cover a lot of stuff, all of your support and all of the courses that we sell, those are the things that keep us alive. So if you want to check anything out, check down the description here. We just released Blender 3.0 in Skillshare, I believe, and we're gonna be releasing new courses very soon. So just keep yourself updated by liking, sharing, and let's go. So this is the character right here. It's called the Infested Citizen by Bark Studios. The artist is Veronika Firsova. I believe she's from Russia. And we're gonna go into ZBrush to start working on this character. I was talking with some of my students this last couple of days. They're working on their projects, and I had an issue. I had an issue with a couple of them. Then that was the fact that people, for some reason, certain people, not everyone, certain students, still have this sort of like tendency to work with low polys. People really like working with low polys instead of Maya, Blender, and they keep things really low. Like a can, they would do like a cylinder with 8 faces only, and that's not the way we do things anymore. I was telling them that nowadays the most important thing that you can have is your high poly. Like if your high poly is good, then your object is gonna be, or your character is gonna look amazing. So we're gonna be doing this big guy right here, and I'm gonna start with the basic proportions for the character. So we're gonna start with the Dynamesh sphere right here, and when I'm working with the, or in this first like stages of the game. I call this a game, but because every project that I do, it feels like a challenge to me. I like to work with forms, right? Like I'm just focusing on the silhouette, on the main forms, and on the main shapes of the character. So I'm using my move brush, big brush right here, move brush, and we're just gonna start moving these things around, dynameshing, and just like polishing some of the elements. So that's gonna be like the head. Let's start pushing out like the shoulders. Usually, the chest is like a little egg that's like pushed forward. So we're gonna have this sort of thing. However, this one, he seems to be a little bit more like facing forward. So I'm not gonna go super forward there. I also like using Train Dynamic to kind of like flatten things out and get like my proportions right. So something like this. I think this is the first time we're doing like a character from scratch. I don't remember doing a character for you guys in a long time. So clay buildup, my favorite brush in all of ZBrush. It's a funny story. When I started learning ZBrush, people didn't recommend clay buildup because it was really aggressive, and Dynamesh didn't exist back then, so it would break the geometry very easily. But then Dynamesh got released, and a lot of people like stuck with like the traditional clay brushes, and I just kept going with my clay buildup, and I really like it. I really like it. So move brush again, big brush right here. Let's go for the abdomen. So I'm gonna pull the abdomen down. Let's add a little bit of the butt right there, the hips. So as you can see, it's just a matter of getting the main shapes right here. Now I'm gonna move this image to the side. I know that not everyone has 2 monitors, but if you can get 2 monitors, even just like a cheap one, and with an HDMI cable to your laptop, it's really useful. Clay buildup again, and I'm gonna start doing some circles here to create like the shoulders. The shoulder muscles, they're gonna be roughly about there. The pectoral muscles are gonna be right about here. No need to be super like specific about the muscles because this guy is completely overridden by like spider eggs or something. And then we have the legs. So legs and arms are pretty much cylinders. I'm gonna do an old school method here. I'm just gonna like push or pull the geometry out. The leg, the upper leg, has this sort of like muscle, very big muscle called the quadricep, which is a teardrop shaped muscle that's like right here. So especially on this like stylized characters, it kind of looks like a big like back coming from the center of the character right here. Now I never recommend doing genitals. It's distracting and you really never see them. But I do recommend adding the volume of the groin, because otherwise pants and all of the like armors and stuff wouldn't be as easy to see. And that's it. Just smooth everything out, Dynamesh again, just clean the shape up. And usually what you're gonna see is the pectoral muscle pushing forward, and then we're gonna have something called the rib cage border. In Spanish, I call it reborde costal, which is that one right there. And then we have the abdominal muscles right here. So those are going to be like your main muscles, your main masses on the front of the character, like this. Move brush again, and let's start pushing this a little bit further down. He has really small feet. But before we go into the feet, he has, of course, the calf muscles. So we're going to add the volume over here on the back. And again, doesn't have to be perfect because we're just doing a blocking right now. So we just want to get like the general silhouette of the character. Now, a small little trick. On the knee, on the inside of the knee, you're going to have a bundle of tendons and ligaments and stuff. It's going to look a little bit like a round shape right about there. And on the outer section, it's going to be flat because there's a muscle called the extensor fascia lata or something like that. And this one comes from the hip, from around there. And he has a super, super thick like tendon that holds most of the muscles from the leg right there. We're, of course, going to have the knee right here. I like to add the knee, and then below the knee, you can just add like a little triangle, which is like the tibia. And it gives you a nice little effect right there. We're going to be defining the muscles a little bit more later on. Right now, this is just like a quick blocking. And now let's start working on the feet. So again, just clay buildup, adding some volume there. It's going to be like the heel of the character. And then over here, I like using my move brush to push this out. Now, as I mentioned, he has like really, really tiny feet. It's part of like the stylized effect. So we're gonna go with something like this. Let's make sure that the heel and everything are like touching the ground. And then with clay buildup, I'm gonna start like pushing this in. Dynamish again to clean this up. There's like a little volume right here. The foot is divided into three sections, more like a lot of time, which is the tarsals, the heel bones, tarsals, and then the metatarsals. Meta means beyond. Well, it's one of the definitions of the word. And then we have the little fingers. So the little fingers are gonna be right here. I count 4 fingers on the character, so it's gonna be 1, 2, 3, and 4 fingers, which again we're gonna be polishing and modifying a little bit more. Same for the shape of the leg. I'm gonna use my clay buildup to give it a little bit of a better like ankle. It's gonna be like a sharp ankle right there. And on the ankle we have a little bone on the inside and on the outside, but one is higher than the other one. The one on the inside is a little bit higher. I'm just gonna add the volume right now. Again, we're gonna be polishing later on. I think today I wanna focus on like the main shapes. Get the general like shape of the character done. A little bit of trim dynamic right here. This is, as you can see, polishing the form of the calf muscles. Calf muscles are more on the back side of the leg. So when you see the leg from the front, on the top part, it's gonna be like very round. But once we hit this area, it should be really, really flat. And the round part's gonna be like back here. There we go. Now I do think the knees are a little bit low. So I'm gonna give them a little bit more height. I'm gonna move the feet a little bit forward because he looks like he was falling over. Let's add a little bit of the glutes. So it's gonna be like right about there. And I think my legs are a little bit too far apart. Don't be afraid to mask things out. So I'm gonna hit Control, go into my mask lasso. Right here, select the leg, and I'm just gonna move the pivot point with Alt and down. And just move the legs like closer together. And since we're in Dynamesh, like I really don't care about like this like gap that we get, because it's really easy to just fill it in with a little bit more clay. And that should be it. At the end of the day, this is still just a blocking, so no need to worry about a lot of the things right now. Cool. I like how the proportions are looking. He's looking quite stylized. That's always good. I'm gonna push on the calf muscles, the inner calf muscle is a little bit lower than the outer calf muscle. So as you can see me doing here, I'm using my move brush to like clean the silhouette on the character. Just get it to where it's supposed to be going. There we go. Yeah, I think we're looking good. Some people like to like really stylize the legs and do something like this. I like to keep them a little bit straighter. It's up to you, of course. Give me just 1 second. I'm getting some messages, and I just need to make sure that they're not urgent. Nope. Okay. So cool. Now, if you take a look at the proportions of the character here, you're gonna see that the torso is way bigger than the legs. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna mask out the legs, and then invert the mask. Position this my mouse right there. Just make it a little bit smaller. That's a very quick way to play around with proportions without having to like redo a lot of stuff, and that's gonna give our character that sort of like stylized look that we're going for. He has a really broad shoulders, and I know we don't see them because he's infested by this like elements, but it's a good idea to already have like the face. Now for the arms, I'm gonna go into my mask pen tool. There we go. We're gonna mask this section right here, and I'm gonna bring them out. I like to bring out the whole thing right here, like the whole element. And I like to play like a Gumby Style. That was a technique that one of my teachers used to show us. Let me go back here. So Gumby Style means just make it look like a mass, and then you're good. So Dynamesh again. I'm just gonna move this here, so the hand's gonna be right around there, and then the forearm is gonna be like there, and then of course the arm's gonna be there. So as you can see, just like get like the general silhouette of the thing, and then we can start polishing and cleaning up. That's a way to work. He seems to be doing this sort of like gorilla stance, so I'm gonna give it the pose already, or a little bit of a pose. Some people ask me, is it okay to pose the characters? Yes, but as long as the pose is like a natural pose. You don't want to do like a super extreme pose. But if it's like sort of natural, like this, or like a King Kong or gorilla-esque like a pose, that's fine. There we go. So that's looking good. I'm gonna grab my clay build-up again. Start working on the shape of the hands. The hands should go all the way to about like halfway down the leg. That's like the usual place of the hands. And now we can start working on some of the anatomy. So here on the arm, you have 3 very important muscles. We have the bicep, like this. We have the deltoid, which is like a shield. I love the deltoid. I think it's one of my favorite muscles. And then back here we have the tricep. Oh, the delta was looking good. And then the tricep over here. We're of course gonna have the elbow right around here. And then we have the muscles of the forearms, which are called the flexors and the extensors. So on the outside, we have the extensors. And on the inside, like coming from the inside here, we have the flexors. As you can see, I'm removing volume first, and then I rebuild some of the volume right there. Again, to create the nice silhouette of the character. Stylized characters are tricky because the masses sometimes like overlap in a really weird way. So as you can see here, the forearm looks really thin compared to what the normal forearm would look like. Or very short, rather, not thin. It's more like it looks quite short. So we just need to make sure that it makes sense. There we go. I think I want to push the pose a little bit more. And then the hands are going to be here. Again, we don't need to do the whole hand just yet, so we can just like indicate where like the thumb is gonna be, the fingers. Just to give ourselves a little bit of an idea. One thing I love to do with the hands is grab them, and instead of having them straight out of the arm, I like to rotate them a little bit like that. See? So that's sort of like a interesting break on the wrist. It really gives a lot of power to the hand. There's of course a lot of information involved in this thing that we're talking about, and this like creation of the character. Um, I hope that we can do like an anatomy course very soon. We have other very cool courses on the making, but we will have an anatomy one. I promise. Because I love teaching anatomy. It's a really fun. It's a really fun topic and it's really useful. A lot of people are scared of anatomy because they think it's really hard, and it is. I'm not gonna lie, it is a little bit difficult. The theory is quite a bit. I mean, there is quite a bit of theory, but super useful. If you're gonna be a character artist, you need to know anatomy. Like there's just no option for you. So there we go. Cool. No need to worry about the muscles of the back. Everything's going to be covered by this like spider X and stuff. So it's just a matter of maybe just like that. There's a muscle called the erector spinae or something like that, which is the one that allows us to go back. It contracts and brings the spine closer together. And it looks like two shotguns, like a shotgun barrel, like like just a sort of like effect right there, which is going to be covered most probably by the pants and stuff. But yeah, this is it. I think he's a little bit slimmer on the waist, so I'm gonna slim him down on the waist, give him like bigger legs. That's it. That's a really cool base mesh. How long have we been working on this? 16 minutes, so not bad. Not bad for a quick base mesh. So now, if we take a look at the concept, one of the, if not the most important thing, are the big spheres, right? So let's start adding them. I'm gonna say append sphere, and these guys have like a really cool effect, like an orangey thingy. So I'm gonna be using this reflect jello thing on the elements. I think it's gonna look cool. So first we have like a really big sphere right around here on the shoulder, and then I'm gonna press Control Alt and duplicate this one, and we have another sphere like about here. It's very important to like observe, like properly observe all of the like information that we have on the concept so that we can follow that as closely as possible. We have another one like right around here. Now the concept does not tell us where in 3D space these things are, so this is where we need to start making some artistic decisions, artistic choices, and say, okay, where does it make the most sense for this thing to be, right? Like probably on top of the skin, not like going into the skin, just on top of it. And that's where we're gonna be placing. Then we have another one, like another big one right around here. It's not as big as the first one, but it's bigger than this one, so probably about there. As you can see, not a lot of overlap. I want to have like a cool, like blobby silhouette over here. Then we have a small one here, kind of like at the side of the head. The head is covered. It's definitely covered by these spheres, so we might need to like make them a little bit bigger at the end. And then again, Control Alt. There's another one like there. There's another small one like there. I'm just pressing Control and Alt to bring these guys where they're supposed to be. It kind of seems like there's more of them. So for instance, like this one right here might be a little bit like further forward, but the problem is we don't have the mask anymore. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here to polygroups and I'm going to say auto groups. So now each sphere has an individual polygroup. I'm going to press Control Shift and click on this one. That's going to allow me to just move that one or mask it. Like if I press Control Shift click and then mask, invert the mask. Now that one's going to be the only masked, and we can just position. So yeah, I can kind of see like there's some more spheres beneath the character and beneath the webs. So I'm gonna create a couple more small ones to fill in those like gaps right there, so I can see some color there, a little bit of like color over here. And one thing we don't see is we don't see the back of the character. So again, here's where we need to, if the artist can't provide because they're working on something else, the reference, we need to be the ones to come up with the same sort of like graphic language that she intended in this case, and create something that looks interesting. There we go. So that looks cool. Now I'm gonna go back to the character. Well, actually, I'm gonna go back to the spheres, and I'm gonna say mRGB color fill object. So they're now filled with this material. And if we go back to the starter material, now we can see this. Now this is one of those instances where we can even like actually go for the color that we're gonna eventually have for the character, and we play around with it. It's something that we can do to make it look a little bit cooler. So yeah, that's the spheres. Now I do think the spheres are a little bit small, so I'm gonna grab the whole thing and just make them bigger and bring them forward like this, because they definitely seem to be like invading the head. Like we don't really see the head on the character. So by tweaking this a little bit like this, I think we're getting closer to what we see. Because I can also see, and again, this is why like looking at the concept is so important. You can see that this spheres start right at the division of the forearm and the arm, and this one right here is a little bit at the pectoral place. So that's why I'm pushing these guys like there. Again, if you want, you can select just a couple of them and just like move them around if you need to. But this looks quite nice. So yeah, that's not bad. Let's do a quick blocking for the pants. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mask out the pants, or where the pants are gonna be, which is roughly about there. I'm gonna go geometry, subtool, and I'm gonna extract. So I'm gonna say extract, hit. I think that's a good thickness. Hit accept. Yeah, that's a good thickness. Let's go to the character, and I'm gonna say color fill object. Now let's go to the pants. Let's grab this sort of like, it's like a desaturated purple color. Kind of like the Hulk. Like that. Color, fill object. There we go. So those are going to be the pants. He has a tabard. I'm just going to very quickly add a cube. Make it thin. This is going to represent like the low. I'm not sure if that's the right word, like a tabard, like a skirt or something. But this is going to be like the basic shape. As you can see right now, what I'm doing is what's called a block-in, right? So I'm just like blocking some of these pieces. Let's go there. Color, fill object. Color, fill object. This is going to be white. Color, fill object. There we go. We have a belt. So again, a pen. So just like a big cylinder. And these are not like, might not be the final shapes that we're going to have. Like at the end of the whole thing, this could only be like basic placeholders. But the important thing is that we can see the like the general thing like taking shape. Like we want to make sure that when we see this and we see this guy right here, things are looking like we're getting closer to the effect. I was talking with one of my students. He's probably seeing this video right now. Hey man, how are you doing? I was telling him that sometimes when working on a project, one of the most important things is to make sure that you're moving at a steady pace in everything, right? So you don't want to have like a character that has a perfect face and perfect sculpture for the anatomy, but then the props and everything looks horrible, right? So you always want to keep working, or you want to be working on everything sort of in a uniform way, so that if you have to stop, like if someone told me stop right now, well, at least you can see that everything it's getting there, right? Like or I could have like instead of having like a belt that looks just super amazing and everything else is missing, this allows me to move, and it's really good for art directors. They really like to see the progress, because they know that the more time as I spend working on this guy, the easier or the better everything is gonna end up looking. So yeah, that's the belt. We have like that like sun thingy right there. I'm just gonna append like another cylinder. Let's rotate this 90 degrees. Flatten this out. It's also like psychologically healthy, I think, because when you're working on several things at the same time, you kind of keep yourself focused. If you work on something, just like one thing for a long time, then it becomes a little bit heavy to get away from that. So yeah, that's it. That looks good. We have like a little like a bag on the right foot. So let's kind of like if his right foot was being like held. It's like a boot. It kind of looks like a boot, but like a really like crude boot. Doesn't look like a tailor boot or anything. It's just like a piece of leather strapped around the ankle. I mean, it's a nice detail. I love it. It looks really cool. So I'm just doing something like this. Just to get an idea of how this thing is going to look. We're going to be polishing. This is going to be our project for the next couple of days. So let's grab this color. Just grab the color there. Color, fill object. There we go. Let's go back to the character. I think we can be a little bit greener. Color, fill object. Is that too green? Yeah, it's a little bit too green. Color, fill object. There we go. It's a little bit better. And yeah, now one of the most important parts, of course, are the all of the webs, right? So there's no easy way to do the webs. I am just gonna mask things out. So I'm gonna use my mask lasso again. For instance, we have this sort of thing right there. I'm gonna get rid of symmetry, of course. So let's mask that thing right there, and then let's mask there. And then, I mean, we're gonna have to find some like a different way to do all of the webs over here, because there's just so many. But for now we can do those. So let's hit extract, accept, and let's fill them with like a nice white color. Yeah, I mean, we can, I think we can use like some sort of like clay tubes or something. Let me see. I'm gonna use curved tubes. And just like fill in all of this like webbing. There's another one. There's another brush. Curve snap, I think, or curve strap snap. Curve surface. Nope. Which one can we use? Tubes. There's one that this insert cylinder. There we go. So the insert cylinder is pretty cool because it does follow like the shape of the object, as you can see right there. So right now we can just like go a little bit crazy with this sort of stuff. You click outside of the geometry, and that cleans your curve. This is where we're probably not going to be able to copy like perfectly every single detail, like every single strand, right? It will be quite a challenge. We can get something that looks like the concept. So that's the main idea. And eventually what we're going to do, of course, is we're going to dynamesh everything. Probably like smooth things out and make it look like some interesting webbing things. There we go. We can use some inflate and stuff to just start like filling everything. Now I can see the head poking through, so I'm gonna go into the head and just like delete the head. I know that might not be what the character has underneath, but this is getting closer to the concept that we have right here. Now remember, this is in pose, so he's kind of like more in a more aggressive pose. We can of course pose our character like that, but I think we're in a really good position. This is looking quite nice. I'm not completely sold on the webs just yet, but as a general idea of how things are gonna look, I think we're in a good position. So yeah, I'm gonna stop right here, guys. And tomorrow we're gonna be working probably on the anatomy. I really want to clean up the body, like the knees, the arms, everything. We're gonna start like from bottom to top, right? From like the thing that's the closest to the center of the character, and then out. So yeah, if you like the series, if this is interesting, if you've liked the results so far, make sure to leave a like, share, subscribe. You know the drill. That always helps us grow as a channel. We're past 21,000 subscribers. Maybe let's see if by the end of April we can get to 22,000 subscribers. That'll be pretty cool. Maybe if things continue to grow as we've been doing, maybe by the end of the year we can get to 30K. That would be a nice little achievement, right? So yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you very much. Don't forget to save if you're doing this as well, and I'll see you back tomorrow. Bye bye.